If you are building an apparel brand, if you're hoping to make it big in the clothing industry, and I don't mean selling a few hundred made-to-order t-shirts. I mean, if you're building a real apparel brand, and if at the same time you haven't trademarked your brand, this video is for you. I'll go through 16 well-known apparel brands and share with you some details about when they were trademarked. Once again, if you have a clothing line and you're hoping to make it big in the apparel business, you might want to consider doing what these really successful brands did. Let the countdown begin. Number 16. Started in June of 1977 with just $40,000 of the founder's family's money and a $40,000 loan, this lingerie brand got their first trademark only 8 months after their launch on February 21st of 1978. Today, Victoria's Secret is worth over $1.1 billion. And if you're wondering, Victoria's Secret didn't become big until 1982 when it was sold to Leslie Wexner. It certainly wasn't big back in 1978, but the fact is, the only reason they got big and got bought up by Leslie Wexner is that the founder had the foresight to trademark the brand early. After seeing Victoria's Secret's success, anyone could open a store that sells women's lingerie. What nobody could do is call their lingerie stores anything remotely similar to Victoria's Secret. And that was only because of the trademark that was secured so early in the game. Number 15. Formerly known as Blue Ribbon Sport. This sportswear company, now famous for their swoosh, rebranded to the name everyone knows, Nike, on May 30th, 1971. The world's biggest sportswear brand filed their first trademark just 8 months after rebranding on January 31st of 1972. This was years before Nike hired its first advertising agency. This was years before Nike came up with their Just Do It slogan. This was years before Nike attained a noticeable market share in the athletic shoe market. This was years before its brand would be valued at over $47 billion. All of that good stuff happened to Nike years after they saw the value in the brand that they were building. And they went ahead and secured it with a trademark. Oh, and by the way, another fun fact about Nike. Now, do you know how much they paid to get their iconic swoosh designed? $35. But they didn't treat their swoosh as a $35 doodad. They went ahead and trademarked it right away as well. Are you starting to see the pattern here? And we're just warming up with our countdown. At number 14, we have Anthropologie. They filed their first trademark just 5 months after they first launched in a refurbished automobile shop on October 31st of 1992. Their first trademark was filed on April 15th, 1993. Now, they have over 200 stores across the US and Canada. Number 13, another name I'm sure you've heard, and another brand that was trademarked just 5 months after launch. Giorgio Armani formed his company in June of 1975. I was born in June of 1975 too. Interesting. Giorgio Armani filed his first trademark on December 30th of the same year. I mean, pretty much any Italian name sounds like it could be a great brand for a business suit. But it's only because of the trademark that the name became a brand that is now associated with luxury, exclusivity, and success. Number 12. Best known for their premium denim jeans, True Religion trademarked their brand 3 months after their launch. Started in April of 2002, they ran to the trademarks office for the first time on July 23rd of the same year. They may be going through some tough times with a bankruptcy they filed in 2020, but what's undeniable is that they've had a pretty good run over the years. Now here's the thing. They knew They had to own their brand if they were planning to charge people over $100 for their jeans and shorts, when anyone can easily buy no-name apparel for well under 20 bucks. So they made the only move that made sense at the time and trademarked True Religion. Bankruptcy or no bankruptcy, the only reason they achieved any level of success at all is because they owned their brand. Number 11. With a projected net worth of over $1.4 billion, Hollister was trademarked 3 months after Abercrombie & Fitch launched it on July 27th of 2000. They filed their first trademark on October 25th of 2000 and have since grown a reputation for threatening to sue anyone who dares use the word Hollister on clothing. And yes, that includes merchants and residents of the actual city, Hollister in California. Once again, just 3 months after launch. And we're not even in top 10 yet. It's only going to get better from here. All right, number 10. Being a fashion icon and a trendsetter, it's no surprise that J.Lo trademarked her brand J.Lo by Jennifer Lopez 1 month before it launched. She launched her clothing line in April of 2001. She told reporters that designing clothing was a childhood dream come true. Even before I learned to dance and sing and act in films, I was just redesigning clothes. I found that there was not exactly what I needed that fit me at the time. From the time I was little, I would get a whacked pair of pants, really cheap, cut them up, and make a beautiful tiny miniskirt out of them because I was on a lower budget at the time. But before she shared her childhood dream with the reporters in April, she shared that dream with a trademarks office by filing her trademark on March 5th. There you go. Number 9. How do you build a $3 billion sportswear company out of your basement? You trademark your brand 1 month before launch. At least that's what Kevin Plank did with Under Armour. He launched his company on September 25th, 1996. But by August 13th, 1996, he already had his first trademark application filed with the USPTO. In 1996, Under Armour sold 500 shirts and made $17,000 in revenue. Now, can you imagine how many people mocked him back in the day for wasting money on his trademark application that he filed before he even started? All those know-it-all gurus who'll tell you that trademarks are not important and that if you want to burn your money, well, you should at least wait until your business is making millions. You've heard of them. Everyone told him he was crazy to go against the behemoths in the industry. He didn't care. He wanted to create the world's best shirt. Kevin said it best. He said, "I was always smart enough to be naive enough to not know what we could not accomplish. Why not us?" And with that spirit, he did what he did to accomplish what he accomplished, which of course included trademarking the brand 1 month before launch. Number 8. Reaching the $1 billion mark in just 4 years after they started. Old Navy was trademarked 1 month before launch. Gap launched Old Navy as their new brand on March 11th, 1994. Can you guess what they did on February 9th of the same year? Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can guess what they did on February 9th of 1994. They filed their first Old Navy trademark application on February 9th of 1994, more than a month before launch. Whatever they paid their lawyers to get that trademark done turned out to be a pretty good investment, if you ask me. Number 7. Ranked as the 15th most searched fashion brand in the world, Dolce & Gabbana was trademarked 1 month before it launched. What is it with Apparel Brands getting trademarked 1 month before launch, right? Wait till we get to the top of the list, but for now, let's go back to Dolce & Gabbana. Launched in October of 1985, they filed their first trademark on September 13th of that same 1985. At number 6, if you watched my video about when music brands filed their first trademarks, And if you didn't watch it, well, make sure that you do. So if you watched it, you'd know that Beyonce knows a thing or two about trademarking her brands early. Now, here's another example. She trademarked her fashionable yet technically innovative sportswear brand, Ivy Park, 2 months before launch. Why? Because she knew that she couldn't afford the luxury of announcing the brand to the world without owning it first. So she trademarked it on February 4th of 2016 and didn't launch it until March 31st of 2016. That's how you build a brand that's worth something. Number 5, fashion website and online store with a 6 million global audience, Net-a-Porter, trademarked their brand 4 months before they launched in June of 2000. At the time they opened their virtual doors to the public, they felt pretty safe about their brand because they trademarked it on February 16th of that same year, 2000. In the early days, the operation was so low-key that the company's black delivery boxes were stacked up in the bathtub. Initially, designers and investors were reluctant to support Net-a-Porter because it lacked a physical retail outlet. The founder, Natalie Massenet, recalled the credibility gap in an interview. They'd listen and they'd nod, and then afterwards they'd say, "Just tell me one more thing, where is your store?" You know how the saying goes? First they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. By the time the company became profitable in 2004, there was a lot of ignoring, laughing, and fighting, but Net-a-Porter won. And the big reason why Natalie got her company to the winning stage is that she took care of the trademarking even before the ignoring stage. Once again, she trademarked Net-a-Porter 4 months before launch. Number 4, Kate Hudson trademarked her trendy yet affordable sportswear line, Fabletics, 7 months before launch. Launched in July of 2013, Fabletics filed their first trademark on December 18th of 2012. I really don't have much to add to that. And moving on to our top 3. At number 3, we have Tommy Bahama. In just under 10 years, this brand became a $300 million powerhouse. But its success started long before official launch in August of 1993. A whole year before that, on August 13th of 1992, Tommy Bahama filed their first trademark to make sure they weren't about to build a brand they didn't own. Once the name was secured, they were ready to go out there and conquer the world with their casual apparel. At number 2, representing her southern feminine style, Reese Witherspoon made sure that she trademarked her Draper James brand a whopping 21 months before she launched her clothing line. The brand launched in May of 2015, and the trademark was filed on August 8th of 2013, almost 2 years prior to the launch. And finally, taking gold at number 1 is Bershka. Bershka is a Spanish clothing retailer generating over $1.5 billion in annual revenue. Launched in April of 1998, guess when they filed their first trademark? Not 2 years before launch in 1996, not 3 years before launch in 1995, not 4 years before launch in 1994. They trademarked their brand whole 5 freaking years before launch on April 7th of 1993. All 16 apparel brands featured in this video took themselves seriously from day one. They didn't waste any time before they got them trademarked. What about you? If you are building an apparel brand, it all boils down to one strategy. If you want to become successful in this industry, you gotta protect your brand early on. Apparel is a very competitive industry where your brand is not just a fancy addition to your business of selling clothes and shoes. The brand is your business. Building an apparel brand without owning it is like paying people to make apparel for you only to find out you can't sell it because it's not really yours. It makes 0 sense. In today's world, You want to trademark your apparel brand before you even launch your line. Failing that, you want to trademark your brand long before you get enough publicity for someone's scrupulous copycats to file their own trademark that would kill your dream in its tracks. If you've been hustling, trying to get people to notice your clothing line, it may already be too late for you to trademark it, and you'll have to rebrand and start all over again. We hate to be the bearers of bad news to entrepreneurs who realize that they're ready to trademark their brands only to find out that someone else had already done it before them. Or you still may be lucky and your brand is still trademarkable. You won't know until you get a proper registrability opinion based on a comprehensive trademark search. Knowing what you know now, let me ask you, are you seriously going to continue spending time and money building a brand you don't own? The people behind each of these 16 apparel brands mentioned in this video believed they were building something great. Long before they started making millions and billions of dollars, they didn't look at trademarking as something that they might do once they become big and famous. They looked at trademarking as something you do early on if you hope to one day become big and famous. If you're out there trying to build a clothing or a footwear brand, if you're out there working hard to make a name for yourself, if you're out there hoping that you might one day build a whole network of stores all over the country or even the world, do what all these successful brands did and start treating your brand seriously right now, today. Your brand is an asset, but only if you own it. And I hate to break it to you, but there is no other way to own your brand other than to trademark it before somebody else does. If you want to trademark your apparel brand with a guaranteed result for a guaranteed budget, check out Trademark Factory. We've helped thousands of brand owners protect their brands, and we'd love to help you secure yours. And until then, I will see you in the next video.